Go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Bad. Today, the murder of Sergeant James Chapin, Chattanooga Police Department, Tennessee. Sergeant Chapin was 51 years old. He had 27 years of law enforcement experience. He'd been a Capitol police officer up in Washington, D.C. for a year, and when he came back to Chattanooga, he'd been with their department for 26 years. Now, he had a wife and 2 children. It's April the 2nd, 2011. Now, somewhere around 10:30 in the morning, hold-up alarm goes out at a pawn shop. Sergeant Chapin's one of the officers that responds to that call. Now, the suspect's coming out the front door about the time the officers are pulling up. Now, there's an exchange of gunshots, and the suspect, he runs back in the store and then comes out a side door, is my understanding of the resource material. Now, the suspect then starts jogging along Old Bird's Mill Road, right there in the 100 block. Now, that's just southeast of the robbery location. Now, according to the witness that participated in the apprehension of the suspect, he said that standing there in the yard of the house he was renting, that's at 109 Old Bird's Mill Road, said they're having a yard sale. He said he saw 2 people coming around the corner of the road. So one of them was kind of a large man, and he was jogging. Now, about 15-20 feet behind him was a police officer. That's going to be Sergeant Chapin. Now, this witness said he saw the officer draw his taser and fired at the man. Said it had no effect on the suspect. Now, the reason that's so is investigation would later show that the suspect was wearing a Kevlar vest. So I'm sure the prongs of the taser hit the vest. Now, he said after the officer attempted to put him down with the taser, said that suspect unzipped his jacket and he pulled out a handgun. Now, this is the second handgun, because he'd already emptied his first one, dropped it on the road, turned around and started moving back towards Sergeant Chapin. Now, according to the witness, Sergeant Chapin, he threw down his taser and drew his own weapon, and the 2 men began exchanging a multitude of gunshots. Now, Sergeant Chapin's hit in the face and he goes down. And the witness went on to say then the suspect just turned around and started walking back down the road right towards his house. Now, the witness said he told his family members and a customer at this yard sale to get inside the house. Now, he went inside the house, got a .22 revolver, and went out there to confront the suspect. He told him multiple times to get down. According to the witness, the suspect finally complied, and then an officer ran up and handcuffed the suspect. Now, according to one of the clerks there at the pawn shop, U.S. Money Shop, he was working the front counter, and the suspect came in wearing a brown sweater with a hood. The suspect had a mask on. Now, he said even with the clothing on, it seemed pretty obvious the suspect was wearing a Kevlar vest. The suspect put the gun on him, the first gun. Wanted to know if there was any other employees in the store, and he said there was, so they went to the back of the store and confronted 3 other employees. Now, one of the employees had seen what was going on, and he had hit the hold-up alarm. They've got one in the bathroom in the back of the store, which is a good idea. You definitely want them hold-up alarms as many different locations as you can. Now, the suspect had the manager to open the safe up, and after he did, he got the money out of it. And then he told him to get the money out of the front registers. Now, according to this, the victim inside the store, the suspect had them all laid out on the floor. Now, while he's on the floor, he hears kind of a shout, he said, like a surprised yell or a yelp. And then he heard gunfire. Now, he said he looked up and he saw the suspect running back inside. The suspect yelled at him to get up and get out. This victim said they all ran for the back door. Said they ran down a ramp and hid behind a transformer there at the rear of the store in the parking lot. Now, of course, the suspect reason he told all the victims inside the store to run, I'm sure that was so it would cause a diversion so he could get out with them. Now, this victim from the store, he said last time he saw the robber, said he was walking down Old Birds Mill Road very casually. And he said that the suspect got to the bend in the road. Officer yelled at him to stop. Said the robber kept walking. Said the officer came up behind him in his patrol vehicle and struck him with it. Said didn't hit him hard, but it was enough to cause him to stumble. Now that's going to be Sergeant Chapin, I believe, from the resource material. Now the suspect, he just kept walking. Sergeant Chapin got out of his vehicle, attempted to tase him, didn't do any good. The officer yelled something at the suspect. The suspect, when he turned around, he was holding that second pistol. And then he said the suspect and the officer began firing at each other. Now, after Sergeant Chapin went down, the suspect kept walking east along the road. And then he said a couple officers pulled up in a car. He heard the officers yelling, then he heard more gunfire. And they took the suspect into custody. Now, the suspect, during this robbery, according to the manager, besides the cash, he'd also gotten some jewelry that was in the safe. Now, it's not a coincidence that the suspect's mama had been in there earlier in the week and had pawned some of her jewelry. So, if I had to bet a quarter, I'd say that jewelry that the robber had the manager give him was his mama's. Now, the suspect was charged out with murder and sundry other charges. He'd also shot a second police officer. That officer survived, so he had a truckload of violent felony charges. Now, he took a plea deal and pled guilty and sentenced to life, no parole. Sergeant James Timothy Chapin. End of watch, April the 2nd, 2011.